Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. I figured since it is almost Halloween, it would be fun to do a quick Halloween look, and I had this Cleopatra headband, so why not? I'm going to start off by using my Kosas Tinted Face Oil. You guys know how much I have been loving this product recently. I just feel like it's the right amount of coverage. It's not too light, not too heavy. Gives me enough coverage where I feel like I have a blank canvas to work with, but I don't feel like anything heavy is on my face. And then I'm just going to do some concealer work over little spots and imperfections. This is the Hint Beauty Duet concealer. I really like this concealer. I just feel like it's very blendable and it tends to be my go-to everyday product. So I'm just focusing on areas where I need a little bit more coverage. And then I'm going to do my eyebrows. So I'm using the Eco Brow Pomade in the shade Penelope. And this is going to be helpful in terms of just filling in my brows a bit. I have a decent amount of brow hairs, but they're definitely not super defined and there's some sparse areas. That's basically what I'm trying to say. So I felt like it was worth going through and trying to shape them a little bit and just give them a more angular, dramatic shape to them. So I'm just extending the wing a little bit and filling in the actual brow. So I basically just took my time doing this and I brushed everything up, filled in the bottom, and then filled in the sparse areas in between, and then made sure to use the spoolie end to really brush everything. This is actually kind of the star product of this video. I really wanted to try and find a blue eyeshadow because I was going to do a very traditional Cleopatra look and that usually has blue eyeshadow in it, but I couldn't find one. So when I saw this Jane Iredale or Iredale, I guess it's a liner, I figured I would try and make it work as an eyeshadow, and unfortunately, as you are about to see, it did not work as an eyeshadow. As you can see, it wasn't very pigmented when I actually spread it out. It was incredibly hard to work with and was super patchy. Like every time I tried to blend it, it would just pick up pigment from another area, and I'm not faulting this product, but I just wanted to let you guys know why we didn't do blue eyeshadow. So I decided to go for a different Cleopatra approach, and I pulled out this Aether Beauty palette, which you guys saw a review of. I felt like it'd be fun to do kind of a golden goddessy look, so I'm starting off with that transition color. It's just very neutral, my skin, but a little bit darker, and I'm placing that all over my lid, and this is just the base shadow that we're going to be using. So I'm just blending that really well, and then I'm going to continue to go in with deeper shades. So I use this one next, and I just placed that in my crease and really made sure to blend back and forth. The whole point of this eyeshadow look is to be smoky and goddessy and make my eyes a little bit larger. So this is just laying the foundation for different shadows that will help us achieve that. So next I'm going in with that charcoal gray color, and for whatever reason, it shows up better on my other eye when I actually put it on, but I'm just placing this in the very outer corner and towards my lash line, and this is just deepening my socket again. See how much more pigmented that is? Isn't that funny? I don't know what that's about, but yeah, so I'm just applying this on the outer corner, and now we're starting to get some smokiness. And I tried using this gold color here. It's actually a metallic shade, I believe, in this palette, and I was anticipating it would be as pigmented as the duochrome shades, but I found that it was more like a sparkly gold glitter overlay, and it wasn't as pigmented as I wanted, so I kept trying to pack it on to see if I could get it really shiny and gold, because that was the whole point, and I just couldn't. It was just a little bit sparkly, so I had to think on my feet and figure out what other shadow I could use from this palette. And I remembered that there's a pink shadow, which I'm about to show you guys right here, that was really pigmented when I swatched it. So I thought I would try and put that over top, and it definitely did make a difference. Like you can see, it looks a little bit more glossy here, but it still wasn't exactly the look that I wanted. I really wanted something that was very noticeable, very like blingy, and you could definitely tell was gold. So I'll show you guys what I do later, but continuing to work in the crease, I use this dark espresso color from the Honest Beauty palette. Honestly, you could have used the Honest Beauty palette for this entire look. If you already have it, then no need to go out and buy something else. but I use the deep color to sort of redefine my crease. So I'm just placing it in my crease with a smaller brush and leaving the tail open-ended. So instead of sort of blending down towards my lash line, I'm keeping the shadow really open on the end, and this gives me a little extra shadow in my corner, which makes my eyes look a lot larger. So you'll see basically I just keep building it up and adding more and more pigment to it. Because it is such a big contrast between the lighter shades I have on my lid and then this really deep espresso color in my crease, I'm being really careful to make sure that I blend it super well so you don't get any harsh lines. And I think something that also really helped to keep this look very dramatic is I actually ended up using a makeup wipe to sort of shape the top of it. So I had it turned down a little bit, and that's because the liner is going to meet that little corner. So it's going to look more like that's my lid shape when everything's done than my smaller lid shape. Once I had cleaned up that area, I went ahead in with a black liner, which I think is sort of iconic for a Cleopatra look, and I did a bit of a cat eye. I decided that I wanted to do something that I felt really comfortable in and that I wouldn't have to worry about throughout the night. And also, I don't know if you guys are like me, but the bigger I make my liner, the smaller my eyes look. So I really wanted them to stay very open and look just kind of like bigger than they actually are. So that's why I ended up doing a smaller line, and you'll see here I'm just mapping them out and I'm really connecting it to that corner that I had created with the makeup wipe and the shadow, and that way, like I said, it'll start to look like that is your actual eye. And I'm just doing the corners first before lining my eye to try and see if I can get them relatively symmetrical. It is always a challenge, I think, no matter how many times you do it, to try and get two symmetrical wings. So I find starting with the wing is always best, and then I just kind of fill in the wing and then move on to my actual like eyeliner liner after I'm done. And I'm making the corners as thin as possible so they blend into the shadow as best as I can. So it just takes a little time, but I think that if you're just patient, it will pay off. So to actually line my eye line, I don't know what to call it, my lash line, I actually ended up using a brush, and this is just an easier way to do it. So I just put a little bit of the liner on and I'm smudging it towards the wing. And this means that you don't have to be as precise with that brush because for whatever reason I was having issues with the brush. So I felt like this would be a lot easier for me. And then with whatever was left over on that small brush, I'm just taking it underneath my lash line, my lower lash line, and this just gives a smokier effect, which I really liked. And I'm taking it all the way into my inner corner so that it's a little bit more dramatic. Usually I wouldn't do that, but I felt like for Cleopatra, it's a good idea. And then this is where the blue is going to come in. I'm actually lining my bottom lash line with the blue eyeliner. I felt like this was a really fun, different rendition on Cleopatra makeup. So you still have the hint of blue, but it's not quite as dramatic maybe as blue eyeshadow, but it's still something really different and just looks really cool. So I just kind of smudged it out underneath my eye, and then I went back in and really defined underneath my eye. And the one cool thing about having blue eyeliner besides blue eyeliner is that it'll make the whites of your eyes look super white. So when you're actually taking photos and stuff, it'll look very cool. It looked a lot more vivid and bright in person. The camera doesn't quite do this eyeliner justice, but I'm just doing it on the other eye here. I'm lining my eye, making that a little bit thicker so I'm able to go back in with my fingers and sort of smudge it and smoke it out. I'll clean up the smudging with concealer later at the very end, but just to get that smoky effect, and then I'll go back in and reline underneath my eye so that there's like a clear defined liner under there. And I really liked how it ended up coming out. I thought that it looked really cool, and it made me want to wear blue eyeliner a lot more often. I was pretty impressed with this product. It ended up staying very well throughout the like hour or two that I wore this makeup. And as a finishing touch, I'm just creating a little wing next to the black wing. I thought that this was a cool touch to it. Usually there's like a thick wing for Cleopatra makeup, so this kind of, sort of mimics that, but in a very different way. And I thought it was just an interesting touch. So next I'm going to actually be applying a little bit more gold shadow to my eye. I know this palette is disgusting, I'm sorry, but I'm using the RMS Magic Luminizer. This is actually a cream highlight, and I'm just using my finger and placing it over the top of all of the shadows I have, and you can see that I get a more pearly, bright gold look, and I really liked how this came out. This is just another piece of evidence that you can in fact layer creams over powders. It just depends on the formula and depends on your application. So you have to think a little bit more, but it definitely can pay off, and in this case it definitely did. And then I just applied a lot of mascara, and when I say a lot, I mean a lot. You can also apply fake lashes at this point if that's what you want to do, but I feel like if you're wearing a Halloween look, the most comfortable thing to do is to just wear mascara, because lashes can be a hassle, and if they're falling off or poking you in the eye, that is no fun. And then I'm applying mascara to my bottom lashes as well, and then that's kind of the eyes complete. I did forget to set my brows with gel before I went on to the eyes, so I'm just doing that step really quick right now, and this will kind of keep them in place and make sure they don't look too crazy throughout the night. And then I wanted to try and bronze up my skin a little bit and look a little bit more glowy and sun-kissed, so I'm using this Han bronzer in the shade Malibu. This has been in my favorites videos. I still really like it, and I think this look you'll be able to see how natural of a glow it gives me. So I'm using a pretty heavy hand with it, and I'm actually using it more like a brush, excuse me, like a blush than a bronzer. I'm just really applying it with a heavy hand and just sort of deepening my skin tone a little bit to my tan skin tone, and that way I just have more of like a goddessy, summery, glowy look, which is kind of how I imagined this once I was doing the smoky eye instead of blue eyeshadow. And then I'm just applying that magic luminizer to all the points that I want to highlight. So underneath my brow bone, the high points of my cheekbones, I'm actually going to take it down the bridge of my nose, on my cupid's bow, and then a little bit on my chin actually, which I know is kind of a funny thing to do, but it definitely adds to the glowiness factor. And for me, that wasn't glowy enough, so I went in with a brush, which allows me to be a little bit more precise with where I'm actually putting the highlight, and I did my inner corners so that it was very pigmented, and I really liked it. The only trick was that I had to be careful not to blend it into the blue eyeshadow, so I was just really careful with the placement of this product, but I really liked the way that it looked on my inner corner. So of course I added it to all the other places again, and I really highlighted my lips. It's going to look kind of crazy for a second because the glitter or the shine of this highlight actually kind of cancels out my natural lip color, but it looked really pretty under the lipstick I chose, which is Sahara from 100% Pure. It's a really pretty rose, dusty, matte color, and I felt like this was really perfect for this look and a super comfortable lipstick to wear. So I just kind of packed that onto my lips with my fingers just to give myself a little bit more pigment, and then I went over the top with a gloss, and this is the Han lip gloss in Jovial. I really enjoy this lip gloss. It just feels very comfortable. It's not sticky and it smells really good, and this added to the overall sort of glowy Cleopatra look, which I really liked. So yeah, I'm just kind of placing that over the top, and then there was only one more step to do. As a finishing touch, I went in with a little bit of concealer, and this is just a very little bit of that Hint Beauty concealer. I'm just kind of going underneath my eyes, brightening that area and cleaning up the line, at least at the start of my eye line. Does that make sense? Just to make it a little bit cleaner. But that is the finished look. I hope you guys enjoyed this. It was pretty simple when everything was done, and it was really fun. So have a happy Halloween, and I will see you all very soon. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!